Welcome into another edition of the JMU Sports News Podcast. I'm Bennett Conlon, joined by Jack Fitzpatrick. And fall camp, summer camp, whatever you want to call it, is here.
Yeah, I'm very confused, man.
We made it, baby.
I'm very confused because Alonzo's practicing.
Allegedly.
Well, no, not alleged. Like he was practicing.
He is practicing. Now, what that means is still very much unclear, but impressive that he's like throwing footballs.
So let's just dive. So today we'll do positional previews. We'll do that for the next couple of weeks. Today's quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Next show, I think it's defensive line, then linebacker, I forget what we have it scheduled out. Today, it's skill groups. I want to start here at the top, though, with Alonzo Barnett III, because he posts yesterday. We're recording on July 31st, Thursday. He posts Wednesday evening a clip from Dragon Ball Z. And in that clip from Dragon Ball Z, it's the quote, "I'm healed." And now today, the start of fall camp, he's wearing a red jersey. The rest of the quarterbacks are wearing a black jersey. He's wearing a red jersey participating in throwing drills, not necessarily participating in the 11 on 11s or 7 on 7s, but just the basic throwing drills.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Like,
That's all we know. From Dave Riggert tweets. We know it from Dave Riggert tweets. I just have to make that very clear. We know that from Dave Riggert tweets.
And nobody's
clear.
Nobody's hitting you, or you should be hitting the quarterback. I don't think they're doing a lot of quarterback contact at all in the summer, which makes it interesting, right? Because if he was like a running back, you can't really get him up to speed because you do want your running backs to take some hits. You're not going to have your quarterbacks take a lot of hits in the summer. So in theory, he could do a lot of what the other guys are doing in preparation, but he still hasn't been cleared unless Chesney says something different later today. He still hasn't been cleared for contact, which obviously you need before games happen.
Yes, exactly.
So he's practicing, but if there was a game tomorrow, he couldn't play.
And if they did like 11 on 11 drills, I don't think they would put him out there.
Probably not, because there could be probably not, because there could be like accidental, like a lineman bumps into you kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like if there is any chance for accidental contact, I don't foresee them playing him.
Right. So he needs to be cleared for contact to play, which makes sense because it's a contact sport.
Thank you, Bennett. That's what you come to the JMU Sports News Podcast for.
I think a lot of people are forgetting it, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, he isn't cleared for contact, but he's clear. Like, there are just so many steps to this, and neither one of us have ever torn our ACL while playing a Division I sport.
Not yet.
I know you may have torn your UCL when you were the coach of the Marble League back during COVID.
It's hard. It's physically hard.
But so like we've never gone through any of this. So like the steps are all what we're hearing from people. Still hearing, I mean, I have not heard an update since my last update of him not being cleared until week 1 or week 2, which is still very much in play. He could go through all camp wearing a red jersey and practicing. Sure. I also want to say, and I feel like I'm coming across as an Alonzo Barnett hater. And I'm not trying. I'm being a realist.
I don't think anyone like rational believes that.
And that may have been a little pretentious of me to say. I'm being a realist. I'm not being a hater. So please. But no, like where was I going with this? Alonzo Barnett.
Yeah, it's not hating to say that he's probably not going to start week 1.
I was going on. There was a point I was going to make there where like what was it?
This is good podcasting. We're in, this is summer camp, fall camp for everybody. We'll be right by the season.
I really forgot what I was going to say, but essentially he's still not cleared for contact. The game 1 will be 9 months to the day from when he tore it, not when he got injured. Excuse me, I'm really in midseason form. Holy hell. Not when he tore it,
but the injury came later.
But yeah.
That was good stuff, man. No arguments here. He tore his ACL. It's has only been about 8 months now, right? So then 9 months um, would be the first game against Weaver State. They play September 5th against Louisville in a game that like I don't want to say it's make or break, but it's close to it. Like you can't lay an egg in that game and probably and make the playoff. You need to be competitive there. You probably have to get through September 3-1 or 4-0 to be in the playoff hunt. So like if Alonzo's a little iffy on his leg, you're not rolling him out there and putting your entire season on the line with a guy who's like maybe not healthy. When you have Matthew Sluka, who's probably one of the best G5 quarterbacks, has been a proven FCS quarterback, and Camden Coleman, who's an absolute stud at Richmond and has two of his best receivers now on JMU's roster. So you do not have to rush Alonzo along. You don't have to risk anything unnecessarily because they have more quarterback depth than they've had in a very long time, maybe ever, is sort of our point. Like Alonzo's a stud, but is Alonzo like mentally still worried about his knee better than Sluka or Coleman? Probably not.
And something I feel like we were saying a lot in the offseason too, which is why it was such a bummer that that injury happened when it did,
Yeah.
because he has the talent. He was making NFL level throws at times last season. Far hash throwing to the other sideline on a rope, just a complete dot. Like that takes a lot of arm strength. It takes a lot of chutzpah to do. And he was making those throws time and time again last season. And the one issue he had was at times he would get into these valleys where it seemed like his emotions would rule his game and he would not be able to break out of them in any way. And there are at times, and I don't know if it was the way the offense was being called or if it was the play, things seemed to be moving too fast for him, or he didn't see something that was clearly right in front of him. The yips creeped back at times into his game, but he was able to break out of it. But, the Marshall game, there were some yips. The App State game, like things kind of went haywire a little bit. And what he really needed this offseason wasn't the physical reps because the dude's got a cannon of an arm. He beat Jordan McLeod out in a quarterback battle. Jordan McLeod went on to win the Sun Belt Player of the Year. The dude has like natural
He's
born
good, yeah.
talent. He doesn't need the physical reps. He needs the mental reps and like being in the film room. So maybe he was able to do that. But I think there was a necessary cohesion of both the physical and the mental at some point during the offseason that I don't think he fully was able to do until maybe the last couple of weeks when he started being able to work out more. And
Well,
there's just
yeah.
so much flying around Alonzo Barnett where, like, if you say he won't be ready by week one, it's like you're poo pooing him, but it's no, it would just take a modern miracle, a modern medicine miracle for a football player to be ready to play in a organized football game where he is getting hit by 300-pound men less than 9 months after his surgery to report a torn ACL.
Also, what was Alonso's maybe biggest weakness last year?
Durability.
Their ability, but like what was that number you always loved to pull? The pressure to sack rate, right?
Yeah, thank you.
This man was not a scramble machine. Like he was taking too many sacks, and we were like,
He
hey,
was a great runner, but he was a horrible scrambler.
he wasn't great at scrambling. The one thing we talked about for like off-season development that we talked about throughout the year was, hey, he's got to be able to, make a guy miss in the pocket and extend the play a little bit differently. You know what doesn't help with your like pocket presence and ability to scramble in an off-season prep? Yes, Jack.
Torn ACL.
Yeah, torn ligament in your knee probably doesn't help. So, like, when we're talking about pressure to sack, and then you bring in two scrambling studs, because Coleman is really good at moving. And I think that's maybe getting discounted, but he can move around in the pocket. He can run just as well as Barnett at times. I think if you have Barnett and Coleman run like a 40-yard dash, I'm taking Alonzo, but Coleman's a really good athlete, good scrambler, great pocket presence. Sluka also is just exceptional on like third down, not seeing anything, making like four linemen miss and converting first downs on those plays. So quarterback run is going to be a part of the offense in 2025, regardless of which three it is. So my like again, no hate to Alonzo. This is incredible that he's even like kind of in the conversation. But like the two healthy guys probably have an edge.
He also still is not cleared for contact. So if there
Yeah.
was a game tomorrow, he would not be like. I hope we get some answers from this here shortly because I just want to know what his availability is. You know what I mean?
I think Chesney's not going to do that intentionally though, because I think he loves the idea of smokescreen here of like, hey, I can run any quarterback out there and you're not going to know. And maybe he reduces what Louisville can prep slightly. Maybe he reduces what Weber State can prep a little bit. I don't know. I think there's some gamesmanship there. I also think like Alonzo wants to play. So Chesney's like, hey, I'll give you a chance, man. If you get cleared, like you're in the mix. But it's going to be hard, I think, to beat out Saluka or Coleman, but especially Saluka. I just think there's going to be an edge to Saluka, man. They seem to really, really love their Holy Cross guys.
The other interesting part to all of this is the fact that you're going to probably have to make a decision on who QB1 is, at least in terms of getting a majority of the
Yes.
first team reps
Yes.
within the first week and a half of camp, because I doubt you're going to be going into, August 20th when
You
classes are
can't.
starting with three guys in the running to be
You
QB1.
just can't.
One of
Yeah.
them may not be cleared for contact. You can't.
Yeah, and it's like especially with the schedule, like Louisville, Liberty, Georgia Southern. If you don't get two of those three, like you're not going to the playoff. That's over. And
Yes.
winning a Sun Belt title is still a great goal, but given the like expectations around the team, the optimism around this team, if you shoot your playoff chances into the sun in September, people are going to be pissed. It's going to be maybe hard to keep the team engaged mentally because like as much as players love to be like control the controllables or focus on today, I guarantee
Main thing, the main thing.
everyone on JMU's roster knows that like we can make the playoff. That's something that they're thinking about. I guarantee they're aware of is like, hey, we could be a top 25 team. We could be a team that is nationally relevant this year. But if you do not have a good September, that blows up in your face. So they cannot waste camp. Can't be like, oh, we're trying to figure some stuff out and we're gelling as a team. Like last year, they're like, we're just trying to figure out our guys and our
We're
personnel.
playing the name game.
Can't happen this year. It's got to be like we're prepping for a great September. It's got to be a little more focused, more streamlined, I think.
Yes. So looking at it, who's your QB1 week one?
I keep going with Sluka. I don't know. I think they like him. I think he's a better passer than people think. His completion percentage isn't the best part of that is because he loves to throw a deep ball. But I don't know. I have a hard time getting out of this mindset of like, I don't know, man. Just imagine the running game with Sluka, that offensive line, that running back room. To me feels pretty dangerous where you could throw it 20 times a game and be plenty fine.
Yeah. I As time goes on, I lean a little bit more towards Luca just because I think his experience is going to play a pretty big role into it and that running ability. Like if this team wants to win a college football playoff, I think it bodes well for Dean Kennedy calling an offense
Yeah.
that fits the offense that he found his most success with in 2023, his lone years an offensive coordinator before coming to JMU with Bob Chesney. So I think Sluka probably gives JMU the best chance to win early on in the season. I think Camden Coleman is a heck of a football player who is going to give Sluka quite a run. And even if Coleman or AB3, whoever wins the quarterback competition, if it's not Sluka, I think we will see Sluka as like a
100%.
trick back, like essentially just a second running back out there. Like I think that is very much that is on the table. That will happen.
He's the only one in my mind that's like guaranteed to play as long as he's healthy.
Yes. Yes. Like if Sluka is healthy, he will be playing at least 5 snaps a game.
But this is maybe the most exciting quarterback like competition that they've had in a good while.
This did you hear we did news or snooze last week with what Chesney was saying at Sunbelt Media Days, but he was kind of throwing shade at the quarterback room from last season. Did you hear what he said about a
No.
lot? It was in the answer about Alonso being cleared for contact, and essentially he was like,
Oh
Alonso's not
yes,
cleared for
yes.
contact, but we love what we have in the room. There's an actual competition in the room, something we didn't have last year. And I was like, you brought in Dylan Morris.
I think
You
Morris
chose to
was
do that.
hurt the whole time. I think that was
I
kind
do
of
too.
yeah.
I do too, but like you didn't do your due
I don't know if they
diligence
didn't.
to
Yeah, I
like
don't know if they didn't like do a physical or something during the port. Maybe not. Maybe that's something they're learning and they like have to do with some of these transfers. You want to do like a basic medical screening because he seemed like his arm, elbow, whatever was just like shot.
yeah. And they're just like We didn't have the depth at
Maybe
quarterback.
explains the throwing motion that went like semi-viral in August.
Yeah, our bad on that.
So it's an exciting
That got
competition.
over 1 million views, right?
Did it? Got a lot. Definitely got a lot.
Let me look.
Okay, running back room
You
loaded.
excited for it?
I'm excited for it. I'm also a little concerned about it, to be honest. It's a lot of
I'm
mouths to feed.
can I'm very honest for that room and the wide receiver room. Like very, very nervous.
Yeah, I
1.2
think
million on that Dylan Morris
that's
clip.
crazy. That's so funny. That was an ugly ass motion. Anyway, we should have known at that time, like, something's wrong with this guy. But anyway, running back room. Iowa Day comes back from injury. We've got George Pettaway, who like probably should be on a P4 roster. We've got our guy Joby, who's
Joby!
just a tank. We've got Jordan.
5'11", 240. Like, come on, man. Go ahead.
We've got Jordan Fuller, who's similar measurements. Do you see the picture they had of guys like arriving?
Yeah, and Jordan Fuller was the first one. The dude's absolutely yoked.
Jordan Fuller is crazy yoked. Oh my God. Him and Joby should be like, they should be like an edge rusher or a linebacker or something, man. They should be running
Look,
backs.
they flipped Lakata Dippery from tight end to edge rusher. Or no, from edge
The other
rusher
way,
back to
yeah.
tight end. Why can't we do
Why
it with
can't they
Jordan
flip
Fuller and
them?
Joby?
Dude, they're huge. And then you got Wayne Knight, who's just like very, very solid and kind of a ridiculous guy to have as running back five.
Odds on Wayne Knight entering the portal midway through the season for the second time in his
I don't
JMU
think he
career.
will, but I have a hard time seeing how he plays unless Pettaway gets dinged up or plays a lot. I mean, I'm sure he'll work his way in occasionally and be like in the return game and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how you split this up.
I don't know how you split it up and keep everyone happy.
I
Here's a
don't think you
question for
do.
you. Here's a very fun question for you. Over under 100 carries for Iowa Day this season.
I'll say over, but like barely.
I think under.
Really.
I think under because George is going to get probably 12. I think
The running bit that he gets 12 and then they're like, all right.
yeah, exactly. No, but like actually, because that's what he averaged. So he'll be around 12. I think Sluka is going to get at least 5 designed runs per game,
At least,
plus the
yeah.
scrambles, but he'll get 5 designed runs. That's up to 17 carries. And you're telling me that we then have like 8 to distribute out if we're running 25 times a game,
They might
50
run like
plays a
40 times a
game.
game though.
You think they pass it 15 times? They like, okay.
I feel like they should be like pseudo service
But
academy stuff, man.
But he, but here's the thing. You then look at their wide receivers, and they've
That's
got
I know
Isaiah
that's going to be a
Alston, Landon
problem.
Ellis, Nick DeGennaro, Zeron Collins, Jalen Sanchez, Michael Scott, and Braden Wislowski, who's
Yeah,
probably going to be more of a returner, but is also listed as a
he's
wide
good, yeah.
receiver.
I feel okay, so receiver, I feel like it's DeGennaro, Alston, Sanchez, Ellis are your four that are like gonna play a lot, and then the rest I feel like could go any type of way in terms of like who gets reps. I think Nick DeGennaro is the best player on the team. Richmond transfer, man.
Clip it. Clip it. You think Nick DeGennaro is the best player on the team? I
His
like
stuff
it.
is
Okay.
crazy, man. I was
T-
like, oh, he's the slot intermediate guy. Of course, we got a DM from Nick DeGennaro. I was like, check yourself. He's so much better on deep balls than I realized. Like I knew he was good going deep, but he's exceptional down the field. I don't know, man. I think he's an NFL player. I think he's the best receiver they've had since Juice Smoothie Wells, as many people are calling him.
Juice Smoothie Wells. Juice Smoothie Antoine Wells.
I think I don't know, like Austin's good, but Austin's not receiving like 8 catches a game. He's never done that. He's been like a big play kind of guy with Army and Iowa State didn't really use him much, but he's a good player. Sanchez, very solid player. Nick DeGennaro is impossible to cover. He doesn't drop passes. He runs incredible routes. He's great after the catch, and he can burn you deep. He can do anything. And Camden Coleman, Alonzo Barnett, Matthew Sluka, probably the strength of like all of their games is throwing deep balls.
Oh, yeah.
This offense is going to be sick. And I think DeGennaro is going to absolutely cook people. I think he's legitimately one of the best players they've had in the last like 3 seasons.
Do you think he has the best opportunity to get drafted this year?
Yeah, he's probably my guy. He's got to stay healthy all year. But
Yeah.
he's not like as small as you think. He's like 6'1", 200, so he's not that. I don't know. I think there's maybe there's racism going on. I don't know. But you look at him and you're like, oh, he should be a slot receiver. He's a white guy. But he does pretty much everything very well. He's just a complete wide receiver who balled out at the FCS level in like a Richmond offense that wasn't really designed to ball out. Like still insane the stuff that trio did with Coleman, Ellis, and DeGeneres, given the fact that they're like actively trying to win games 21-14.
Yeah, that team could have had like the best offense in FCS, and instead they're
Yeah.
like, what if we just grind them to a pulp?
But they got too many weapons.
They have so many weapons
Too
because like
many.
Jalen Sanchez was also a dog at Villanova in the slot. How many reps is he going to get? Landon Ellis is a rising junior. I think he could really push Isaiah Alston for that X
He probably will,
receiver
yeah.
role. And like Landon Ellis was the favorite target of Camden Coleman last year. And because Nick DeGeneres missed some time with an
Yeah.
injury, but like they've got so many weapons. And it then goes back to the running back question that we have. Like you have quite literally Io, Petaway. I won't even include our fan favorite Joby or yoked Jordan Fuller here. Like you could throw those two in though, because they both are deserving of carries, in my opinion.
Well, we
But
just
like,
a quick aside. We had heard for a while that like Fuller was on their radar as like a potential Petaway replacement if Petaway went to a P4, and then they just bring in Fuller anyway.
right? Like, whoa. And just like, so we got Io and Petaway. And then, oh, by the way, we have Sluka,
Sure.
who is going to get runs. He's going to have designed runs. Then, oh, by the way, we have Isaiah Alston and Landon Ellis, Nick DeGeneres, and Jalen Sanchez. That's 7 people that deserve a ball thrown their way or handed to them at least 5 times a game.
Dude, that's like 7 people that could be feature like pound. Like if you're
And then, and
ULM,
then,
you'd give your
and
soul
then
to
if
have
I'm
any of those seven.
And then if I'm call me crazy, you throw Joby in there, you throw Jordan Fuller in there, you're up to 9. If you really want to get crazy, Mikey Scott was the talk of spring ball. You have Dylan Williams not even featured here, and he's been like this fringe guy who's been making waves in practice for the last 2 seasons. Maybe Dylan Williams bursts onto the scene. You've got Saron Collins, who was averaging 40 yards a touch at Tusculum at the Division 2 level. You got so many guys. And
Yeah, and
this
that's
could be played back. It could be played back in 5 months when JMU's 4-8
no,
and their offense is struggling. But
I don't
it's
see
not
it.
going to be. Like this offense has weapon after weapon after weapon, which is why they're a college football playoff contender.
Yeah, it's loaded and it's like some of it's unfair, right? We saw it in the Ball State game where like Ball State's exhausted. They haven't gotten a stop all day and it's like, oh, game's almost over though, so they'll put their backup running back in. Surprise, he's 5'11", 240 pounds. Like they had to try to tackle Joby in garbage time and he was like stiff arming 5 players at a time. It looked unfair. There's a reason Biff Poggi was like crying after game one. He's like, why would you keep playing against us? Like they're so deep and they had it at times last year that some of it feels like it's going to be cruel and unusual punishment with the number of guys they're going to keep throwing at you throughout a game.
And then to loop it all back to the opening point, it's why this quarterback position is so important. Like you've got to have the right quarterback making
Yes.
the right decisions. And I think Sluka, Coleman, and I don't want to get Savage Duke Dog mad at us again for saying other rather than including AB3 here, or AB3, who's still yet to be cleared for contact. Any of them, like I trust them all to make the decision. But as of right now, as it stands on July 31st at the recording at 12:17 p.m., I trust Camden Coleman and Matthew Sluka more than Alonzo Barnett the third.
Yeah. It's I would agree. But they're
Mainly
yeah.
because he's not cleared for contact and he hasn't taken a hit in 9 months.
You're also going to need some unselfish quarterbacks sort of leading the locker room to a
Which
certain
Barnett
extent.
is that.
Yeah, so
Barnett was a great leader.
you got to have that trio like all bought into like whoever's out there. Which by like from what we've heard they are, but it's important because you want to make sure the receivers aren't feeling like diva-y because there's going to be some guys in that room who, if they played for like Coastal Carolina, would be wide receiver one, and they're just not going to be at JMU.
Well, like DeGeneres, this is a guy that probably in one week he might have like 10 targets and 7 receptions. And then the next week he may have 2 targets and no
No, not my
receptions.
guy.
No, okay, probably a bad guy to use,
Not
but
my
like,
guy. My guy's gotten 11 targets every week, 9 catches, 124 yards, 3 TDs a week. Heisman.
all right. So, I mean, You know what I'm
I get what
saying,
you're saying.
though.
Yeah, I just wanted to give Nick his love. But yes, there's gonna. But it
You
was the same
should
with
because
Joby. It was the same with our
you
guy
made him
Joby.
mad.
Joby would have like the some great game, and then next week he'd get one carry for 2 yards, and we'd be like, "What in the world?" But that's kind of how it's gonna go. And the part about Joby that at least I think that both of us really loved is that he's on the sideline like every game, just like grinning ear to ear. Like he'd get one carry for 2 yards or 8 for 60, and he's just like happy Joby, and we're like, "Oh my
And
God, we
he
love
could
this
have
guy."
left this offseason. Like he could
Yes,
have left.
yeah. I mean, he's unbelievable. He probably should have gotten more reps than he did, and he just like rolled with it. So if they could have guys who are willing to do that, and then like tight end, we'll get into probably in a future podcast. But like, you're not getting the ball. Like if you played it,
Well,
if you played,
if you also look at the tight end room, it's like Josh Pfeiffer and Lakata Dippery both are 6'4" plus,
they're big.
250 plus. And it's like, oh, I know why you're here. You're a blocker. And then you have Logan Kyle, who's a cheat code in college football 25 because they gave him like a 95 speed for some
Yeah,
reason. And you could just run tight end seam with him and score every time. Like Logan Kyle is a tight end option. I don't know how much run he's going to get, but
it's
that's
gonna.
another guy to throw into the
I
mix.
know, but the size and all that is interesting too. Like Jalen Sanchez at 6 feet, 200 in the slot. That's different. That's different than what we're
That's
used
not
to.
Ymir.
That's not Ymir. Ymir was running out there like 5'2", buck
It
20, and he was really
it
productive, but it's different to have a 6 foot slot guy.
so your 6 foot, 200 pound slot guy matches with your 6'4" or 6'2", 200 plus X receiver. Then your Z receiver is either going to be Nick DeJaneiro, 6'1", 200. I don't think Zeron Collins will be it, so I'm just going to stick with Nick DeJaneiro. That's all roughly 200 pounds or more wide receivers. Plus, you have two tight ends that are 250 plus. You know what that screams to me? Like screaming from the mountaintops. Chesney can do as much gamesmanship as he wishes.
Yeah.
But if you just look at this roster, you go, oh, power run team.
They're going to pound it down people's throat. And then you look at like some of the offensive linemen and the size that they have in that room, and it's some big boys, man. It's some really big guys.
McMurtry, 305. Joseph Simmons, 320. Carter
Simmons got
Sweezy,
big.
330. Cam McNair, 335.
And then the guys
Big
who are
boys.
like, quote unquote, a little smaller. It's like Riley Rebel, 6'3", 291, with like this extensive wrestling background. And it's like he knows what to do with the 291.
Josh Toner, who's like the guy who's played every single position at a high level, is
Yeah.
just 6'3", 320. And you're like, oh, cool, 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 cool.
They're
They're
large. They're very
undersized
large.
player. Their undersized player is Zach Greenberg at 6'4", 295.
Yeah. I mean, they're just gigantic.
Man, so confused though. Like I'm getting so many mixed signals from Alonzo Barnett.
We'll see what happens at quarterback, but they have options at every position. It's just a matter of finding the right one. And as you mentioned, finding the right one as quickly as humanly possible.
Like I would love to know it yesterday. If I'm Chesney, I'd love to know it yesterday. Um, didn't think this was worth like reporting on or saying it, but just so you know, Bennett, Jacob Thomas is back.
Yes. Yes. For some of our listeners, Jacob Thomas is back. I know we have some listeners who are pretty excited about women's basketball, and they haven't had a chance to tune in yet to football, but Jacob Thomas is returning.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, it's about 30-minute podcast. Anything else you want to add here?
No, I'm excited. We'll keep diving into it throughout campus. Maybe we get some nuggets and things like that. We'll talk schedule at some point, but offense on paper is loaded. So I'm interested to see what happens here the rest of camp. And then also injury wise, because you want to get through camp healthy. Because, you lose some of these guys, it certainly becomes a little bit different in what it looks like the first couple weeks of the year.
Are there any storylines that you're like, other than quarterback, I know that you're like actively monitoring? I know we won't get a ton of information the way JMU handles their camps, but um, do you think there's any information that will come up that will pertain to a storyline that you care about? Also worth noting, Bob Chesney is holding availabilities in the morning, so
Mm,
we should have insights
we
from
like
his
that.
media availability shortly.
I would say I want to know about the defensive line and the pass rush because losing Eric O'Neal and Kyrie Mans is a pretty big deal. Seems like they have some options to sort of fill in there on the edge, but I'm interested to see sort of who Chesney pinpoints as guys that are like, yeah, this guy's ready to go. This guy's ready to to make an impact. The one name that maybe is most interesting to me on the entire roster is Aiden Gobera, the Notre Dame transfer, who was a former four-star, five-star kind of kid. He's like 6'5", 255, I think they list him at. Yeah, 6'5", 255. He's a Virginia native. But we talked about it. He was what, medically retired by Notre Dame, which is something they do to like open up roster spots. But he's gone through a lot of different injuries. Is he healthy? Can he play? Because there's always something fun about like a former 4 or 5 star with that kind of traits
Was
coming
his
to the
name
G5.
Wayne Davis? Was it Wayne Davis?
Was that the guy that you loved from Ohio State?
Yeah, that every year I'd be like, he's gonna win the Buck Buchanan Award.
I think that's right, right?
Was it Wayne Davis? Yep, Wayne Davis. The Ohio
Yeah,
State transfer was like a former 4-star, 5-star.
he was good. He was good.
He was very good.
So we'll see if they have that. Turner Schmidt from Robert Morris. He was you know, he was a big priority in the spring portal. So what does he have? Sahir West is fascinating, right? I've been singing his praises since the bowl game, and they list him at like 20 pounds heavier, 6'4", 270. I don't know if some of that is like just bulking the offseason and he goes through camp and he gets down to like 260 again, but he's an interesting one to keep an eye on. And then the interior defensive line, I think everyone thinks Emmanuel Bush is going to be a star. They list him at 348.
Boom!
I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Big boy.
But he's a big run stuffer in there, obviously, and also had a good pass rush last year and just like whiffed on a few sacks at the last second that he could have had a few more. But who else goes with him, I think is my big
Yeah,
question. Because
who
what
runs
is
a DT2?
yeah, who else is
Because
going to
like
kind of go with him? Because he's clearly the guy, but like if he gets hurt,
I mean, you got
what's it look
Kels
like?
Bush, Terry Lockett, Michael McMullen. There are some options there.
Colgate transfer, Tadeo,
Yeah,
probably double check
Andrew
that pronunciation.
Tadeo.
He's really good. Like him a lot. And then the other one who's like got me really interested, true freshman Cole Webster, 6'3", 290. I feel like he had some good praise during the spring. Supposed to be a freak.
So you just posted this over on jmusportsnews.com. I urge everyone to go check it
Oh,
out.
thank you.
Bennett has done his final off-season JMU football projected depth chart.
Yeah.
Fall camp is here. Are you going to do any updates throughout fall camp because you're not attending or anything, just kind of through the grapevine?
Maybe we'll see how it goes. We'll see if we hear anything, if we get any actual insights. Otherwise, maybe we wait for. I do think though the initial one is going to be littered with ore again. Like I think
I
Chesney's
don't
just
think,
going to
yeah.
throw out like, hey, every quarterback starting and every. So I don't think the
Well, yeah,
official one's
like
really going to mean much.
Justin Eaglin was a starter in week 1 last year, and he wasn't even getting PT by the end of the season.
Yeah, the depth charts really are something. And then also like they were saying they were starting like blocking tight ends week one against Charlotte just for fun. They're like, oh yeah, Taylor Thompson's not going to play for us. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Sure, against his former team.
Truly
But
their best receiving option in the bowl game.
but you did write this awesome projected too deep. I do want to know top level, what were your biggest changes from the initial one you did? What it was post spring game, I think you did your initial one.
Yeah.
The biggest changes from that one to this one. Is it putting an or next to Camden Coleman's name and including Alonzo Barnett the third?
Probably that. It's probably Barnett's like more in the mix for me than he was originally. He seems like he's doing well in the recovery, better than I thought he would. I
It's a
still,
marvel of
yeah,
modern medicine if he is able to be cleared for contact.
yeah,
Like that is 9 months to the day since he suffered a torn ACL, and you're telling me he can play a football game? That's insane. And this isn't me poo-pooing him again. Like that is just like mind-boggling.
yeah. The other one that stood out that I changed a little bit is I think Amar Thomas is like maybe not going to be a true defensive end for them. And I think it was like Nick Freeman, who had maybe mentioned he's like, what if they use him more in coverage? And I looked it up and he actually had like 15% of his snaps in coverage last year or something. They list him 10 pounds lighter, Thomas, at 240 now. I wonder if they use him in sort of a
Kyrie
hybridy
Mans,
role.
like how
Yeah,
Kyrie
kind of like
Mans
the
was
Kyrie
used.
Mans. Maybe he drops into coverage a little more. Maybe they use him as a Swiss Army knife. I don't exactly know because he's never really been like. I think everyone expected Amar Thomas to develop into like a Jalen Green dominant defensive lineman. That's never really been the case. But he's a better cover guy than Jalen Green was, and he can still play defensive end. So I wonder if they use him in sort of a fun, creative way. So that was one. And then the other thing that I just noticed that I think will be interesting wasn't a change. Gannon Weathersby, they listed at like 205. I think in the spring. up to 222. I think Weathersby is the best linebacker on the team.
Was it my take Burge take that I think JT Kwame yeah will be the number one linebacker by the end of the season?
He's a good one too, and they're similar skill set, similar athleticism. I think Trent Henrik gets a lot of the headlines, and he's played a long time. The athleticism upside of the other two has me excited. I think Henrik's really, really solid, but you look at what the other two guys can do in coverage and things like that, man. I don't know. Those two might end up being sort of the guys.
We did get some breaking news here just now, came across the wire.
Okay,
JMU just wrapped up a competitive and spirit-filled day. Filled day, spirit-filled day. That was JMU football's tweet.
that's big. That's big. That's what Chesney wants, right? He wants competition, and he wants
Spirit.
1% better high energy.
All right. Anything else you got to add?
One more thing
One more thing, folks. Come
that
on
I
down.
really want to get to here. Hold on, let me make sure I find it. Cornerback. We sure they're good? We'll get to that later, but like when I went through the depth chart, every position I was like, I can see it, I can see it, I can see it, and I got to corner, I was like,
Well, you know why I think you have that reaction on corners? Because cornerback one and cornerback two are,
they're
and
all
cornerback
new.
three, it's all new guys. It's Mekhi Rogers, Chance Harley, and Elijah Culp. And it's just like, I think they're good. I don't
I,
know if they're good. Like it's St. Francis. It's where Chance come from. Maryland by way of
he started Villanova and
Villanova.
like didn't play, and then transferred to
And then
Maryland and
and
played.
then and
Says a
then
little bit about the terms.
and then you got Elijah Culp, who's like
He's played
a
at like
10
pretty much
game
every
starter.
school in the country
Yeah.
too. Yeah, this is like
I
his
think
eighth
Austin,
school.
what Austin P, Troy, Charlotte, now JMU.
Yeah, he's played. Yeah, he's played everywhere, and he's really good. So yeah, okay, maybe they'll be all right. I guess
But
my
we just don't know. We've never seen him in the purple and gold, and we're like, are they going to be good? Because we were burned last year with some transfers that you were like, that's going to be a good player, and it never amounted to that. I get your feeling. I'm leaning on the fact that they did strike gold last year with the Eric O'Neills, these guys from
yeah,
low
for sure.
end FCS schools, and they hit home runs with them. I think that's what they're going to get with Mackay and Chance and even Elijah Culp. I'm maybe a little too high on the safety room.
Safety
Like,
room stacked.
like you don't necessarily need great corners when you have great safeties over the top helping them. Jacob Thomas, it's kind of a coup that we were able to keep him
Yeah,
in Harrisonburg. And we'll dive deeper into defensive backs with another podcast, but just kind of a little appetizer here. Keeping Jacob Thomas is massive. Chase Regan is like a budding superstar, it seems. Curtis Harris Lopez is a transfer. I've heard good things. Kai Holmes was getting hyped in fall camp last year as the starting safety. He may not even be a starter. TJ McGill was a
he's good.
baller at William and Mary. I I'm very high on the defensive backs.
Man, playoff or bust.
That's it's insane to say that, but I think it is. I,
Symbol
I'm
title
hoping
or
the
bust.
foreign Sun Belt title or bust. I'll say that Sun Belt title or bust because last year was a little bit of a disappointment not playing in the Sun Belt title game, especially after the start of the year.
100%.
So, all right. Now, anything else?
That's it for me this week.
For Bennett Conlon, I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for tuning into the JMU Sports News Podcast. If you haven't already, we would greatly appreciate you rating